welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, race fans from all across Malaysia. We are back for the Toyota Gazoo Racing Festival, Toyota VR Challenge 2019. I am Nick Harris, and my co-commentator is going to be Victor Kangs.
Hey, what's up, Nick Harris, and what's up, everybody here watching the stream now. We're going to be going live with race number 1 of the super sporting class here at the Toyota Gazoo Racing Festival. We are broadcasting live here from Bandar, Malaysia. This is the Royal Malaysian Air Force Museum, and what a doozy it's been. We're going to be seeing some of the highlights from qualifying earlier today, where we saw Tengku Zhan Lei actually take the top spot here in the super sporting qualifying.
And this is where the action has transpired in terms of the qualifying rounds. It was crazy insane to see the amount of talent as well, the skill that's on display from the super sporting class. We did see a little bit of action here as it was shown from car 21, Boy Wong, with a crazy collision towards that dreaded 7th turn.
Yeah, that 7th turn, it's claimed a lot of people here, including Brendan Paul, who actually crashed out during practice. So the thing is that I think a lot of these drivers here are definitely going to be taking this section of the track with a lot of caution here, because they don't want to ruin the race, especially this early on. There's still one more race for them to go tomorrow, but again, you want to be able to finish this first one here to at least get yourself right up in the points.
Well, 9 racers are on the grid, and they are prepping themselves to get ready for that warm-up lap. As we do see, it's going to be Tengku Zhan Lei, Mark Darwin, Freddie Ang, William Ho, Brendan Lim, Shafiq Ali, Boy Wong, Kenny Lee, and Brendan Paul on the grid. It's a crazy time to be a race fan here, as we're going to be watching them put it all down the line, pedal to the metal with crazy amount of speed and all the risk to take in terms of fighting for the racing lines.
And the thing is, you know, if practice or qualifying is any indication at all, the super sport guys are very fast. Like, they've been consistently setting 116s, 117s all across the board here. So you know that these guys are on an entirely another level here when you compare them with the sporting class. So these represent some of the best drivers here in Malaysia. A lot of these guys have years and years, maybe even decades of experience under their belt when it comes to motorsports. And these guys are bringing in the big guns when it comes to this race.
Well, there is an opportunity here for a lot of these drivers to walk away as the winners of this race. However, they still have tomorrow to consider. But before tomorrow comes, today is what is important, because Tengku Zhan Lei is going to be enjoying pole position. Not too far behind him is going to be Mark Darwin from Laser Motor Racing, as well as Freddie Ang from Telagamas Toyota, not too far behind him. So this is going to be interesting to see how that is going to affect Tengku Zhan Lei and his racing capabilities heading in towards race number 1 of this super sporting class.
Yeah, and just to give you guys an idea, like Tengku Zhan, Mark Darwin, and Freddie Ang, they're just basically separated by less than half a second, not even half a second, less than half of a second when you consider their entire lap time when it came down to qualifying. So you know that these guys are absolutely at their A game here, and it's going to be remain to be seen whether that lap time in qualifying translates to real race performance, because it is one thing to be the fastest when it comes to pushing a car. It's an entire another thing when you're racing against somebody else.
It's definitely a different kind of experience racing against somebody else, especially when someone is nipping at your heels, trying his level best to deny your top spot and trying to basically compete for your racing line.
Exactly, and the thing is that, you know, as far as motorsport is concerned, you know, cooler hits will prevail. Even when someone is giving you a lot of pressure from behind, it's oftentimes the driver who is able to stay cool, stay smooth, and stay consistent. They will end up finishing this race on top.
Beautiful Kuala Lumpur City, the shot of the skyline there, as we can see the beautiful Twin Towers piercing the skylines of KL City, as we are going to be coming to you live from Bandar Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur here, coming to you from the old Air Force base here in KL.
Yeah, and I also wanted to shout out to all those people who are watching us from home. Did you know they can literally come here and watch the race for yourself? You know, we are here in the Royal Malaysian Air Force Museum. If you guys want to come here, you can actually make use of a Grab code, which is GRAB2TGR. That's GRAB2TGR. And if you use this code, you will actually get a 15 ringgit discount. So what are you waiting for? Honestly, just drop on by here, because besides the racing action that's going on here, we have a full-blown festival here at the Toyota Gazoo Racing Festival. We've got activities such as the Toyo Drift demonstration. I did manage to see them, and we actually brought in some Japanese drifters here to show off the skills behind the wheel. We also have the GR Supra. That's the brand new Toyota sports car right here that you can actually have a look at. You also have the GR Velocity Simulator machine, so you can give a little taste of what it's like to be behind the wheel of a full-blown race car. You can also, for the kids out there, you can also come and take part in a Beyblade tournament and also get to meet your hero, Agent Ali, who will be making an appearance here at the Toyota Gazoo Racing Festival.
60 seconds before we start our warm-up lap for all these drivers. We are going to go underway now as they are going to be sounded off. This is the start positions for all our drivers. Tengku Janlei as well as Mark Darwin are going to be sharing their row number 1 with Tengku Janlei at position number 1. Freddie Ang and William Ho from row 2, position 3 and 4. Brendan Lim and Shafiq Ali in row 3, positions 5 and 6.
And in row number 4, we have Kenny Lee and Brendan Paul. Brendan Hall, who had a mishap during practice, was able to make it qualify, but unfortunately isn't able to make it through. And last but not least, we have Kenny Lee. He's going to be filling in up the last spot.
Well, this is going to be very interesting to see how these drivers are going to, how their outlook on the road is going to affect their overall performance here as they're going to be heading into race number 1 of the Super Sporting class.
Yep, Super Sporting class, so you know that these guys are on an entirely other level here, coming down through the parade lap, just making sure the cars are in tip-top condition before the start of the race. This is their last chance, you know, to do their final checks, make sure those cars are in optimal running condition, make sure those tires and brakes are warmed up enough for the start, because it is going to be a standing start. They're going to have to rely a lot on their reflexes as well as their reaction times in order to make that perfect, clean escape off the line.
Yeah, they want to make sure that the standing start is not marred by any decelerations. So that's something that they have to consider here. A perfect start is always something that a lot of these drivers look forward to. Being able to actually take advantage of that pole position, Tengku Janlei could actually get himself a lot of distance between himself and Mark Darwin if he starts off really, really well in pole position as the race is about to begin.
That is exactly right. Now they will be coming in towards that final sector there, a sector that's actually seen a lot of incidents and chaos here, not least in the sporting class as well as during practice and qualifying. So this is definitely, you know, not your standard kind of racing track. There's a lot of danger lurking around every single corner. These drivers will constantly have to be on their toes.
20 laps is going to be the laps that they are racing, so this is going to go underway relatively soon. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, race fans from across Malaysia, hope you're ready. The green flag has been waved off. It's almost time as they're gonna sound off. And here we go relatively soon. Vix, are you ready?
There we go. Green light is up. The drivers are coming off the line very nicely. All these cars coming off a very good start. I think the Germans in the cut right in front of the racing line here, keeping this entire train of cars at bay. Now we keep coming through towards turn 2, keeping a very nice tiny line going in single file as they turn into turn 3. A look on the inside there for car number 2, Brendan Paul, who had suffered an accident, is going to try to make up some places and make up hopefully some lost time, but unfortunately isn't able to take advantage of that position. Now Tengku Jan is going to be leading this entire train of cars down the runway, accelerating at full speed now as they approach the chicane trap just before the hairpin. Tengku Jan going in very nice and tidy there. He's not going to take it too risky though. He's going to take a very defensive line in fact to try to keep Mark Darwin at bay. Mark Darwin now having a little bit of an insight there onto Freddie Ang, who's looking to try to take advantage of this position here. Freddie now going side by side along with Mark Darwin. He isn't able to accelerate out fast enough though, but he has the outside and Mark Darwin has the inside. Mark Darwin has the defensive advantage. He's going to cut him off just before they enter into the turn, and what a way in order to be able to maintain P2.
Beautiful tie action there coming in from Mark Darwin and Freddie Ang and Tengku Jan. They still maintain that top pole position here. William Ho right now trying to give him as much pressure as he can. Not too far behind him is Brendan Lim, but we do see Tengku Jan right now getting more and more gap between himself as well as
Tengku Jan is very flying away right now. He's under no pressure whatsoever, and the thing is, Mark Darwin having faced so many attacks from Freddie Ang from behind, it's heavily able to keep up with Tengku Chan, who's literally flying away right now. A best lap of 119.54. He's absolutely blistering as he comes down this runway.
Tengku Janle right now enjoying a big gap between himself. However, they are going to be going into the chicane trap right before the dreaded turn 5, as they are going to be fighting it off. You can see a little bit of tire action here. No, look at that Janle right now getting
massive crash there onto 86. Brendan Lim having a massive damage there to his front. They're going to be able to get away there from the corner. So fortunately, no cars are damaged bad enough that they're going to have to stop. Looks like they will be able to lift it right back to the pits. Unfortunate set of circumstances there for Brendan Lim.
Very unfortunate coming in for Brendan Lim as bits and pieces of his bumper are being dragged off. This could be detrimental towards his ability. So let's take a look at that replay and break it down for you guys and what happened at turn number 5.
Yeah, so we saw car 39 taking a very strong cutting there, but that's car 21 actually, of Boy Wong, who cut in very sharply and it caused the chain reaction there that resulted in Brendan actually losing his rear bumper. That's a really bad move there on Boy Wong's part. But here's the thing though, Boy Wong being the defending champion from Season 2 is definitely out to prove something for himself, but unfortunately took things maybe a step too far.
Well, Brendan Lim right now, yellow flags have been waved off here, will be able to get out of there. Sadly enough, Boy Wong again, on the receiving end of a fender bender.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that is entirely his fault there. You know, he tried to cut in very quickly into the hairpin, but must have misjudged his turn in, and he's braking there because he went straight barreling into the side there of, I think it was Brendan Lim, or was that Penny Lee? But nevertheless, though, Boy Wong will be our first retirement here on the Super Sport class. But in the meantime, you know, it looks like the racing will still continue. No safety car has been called as Boy Wong is able to push his car off of the track, so it looks like the race will still continue.
3 laps already down for the count here as we have 17 laps to go. You see that John Lane right now with a beautiful time of 1 minute and 16 will be able to maintain a strong lead.
Yeah, 116 again, like proving, you know, that he's the man to beat when it comes to the Super Sport class. He's been fast and consistent, and that's exactly how you win races. You know, Tengku Chan, with the years experience he has in motorsports, not just in these kind of touring car classes, but also in rallying and drifting, has definitely leveraged all of those years experience into coming into this race, and definitely is going to be very well deserved here. He's able to keep that P1, but nevertheless, Mark Darwin is trying his best here to try to keep up with Tengku Chan, you know, just maximizing the amount of space he has there with the concrete barriers in order to get a really good exit out. But unfortunately, it seems like Tengku Chan may be just a little bit too fast here for Mark Darwin to catch up, because the gap started at about 1 second, is now up to 1.4.
And here's another replay for you guys to check out the action that just happened, and this was the start of all the action that transpired, and my goodness, it was crazy as a start off. And look at that, Tengku Janle with a beautiful start, and this is the beginning of what is happening for the past few laps as it is. Tengku Janle was able to maintain that pole position, mainly because of that beautiful start that he has and the amount of space that he's starting to get between himself. We see it because of that beautiful start.
And I gotta give a shout out here to Mark Darwin. It was amazing defensive driving he did at the start there. He prevented both Freddie An or William Ho from being able to find a gap through that turns 2 and 3, and that allowed him to be able to keep P2 just behind Tengku Chan. Unfortunately, it's not able to keep up with Tengku Chan's absolutely insane pace there. He almost had a few hard stopping moments there as Freddie Ang almost found the inside of him at several points, especially during that hairpin. But really where he's due, kept his head cool, and he's still going to be up there in P2.
Beautifully done there, coming in from the side of William Ho as well as Freddie Ang, fighting it off at turn number 5 as they are approaching towards turn number 6. We do see some good attempts here coming in from Freddie Ang as well as William Ho, as well as Tengku Janle, very far off from each other. You might see that the battle of position number 1 can be very distant.
Tengku Chan still pushing the car as if he's still being chased by ghosts, because look at that, his gap is still starting to increase here between him and Mark Darwin, and he's still pushing it to the absolute limit here. And he has to keep doing those up here from Tengku Zhan, and he will definitely lose that first position. But Mark Darwin, to his credit as well, is keeping very close to Tengku Zhan, just waiting to find a gap there to exploit. He just needs to be able to close that gap.
He does need to be able to close that gap here, as we do see Tengku Zhan Lei right now trying to get as much position, much gap between himself. We do see third and fourth place of Freddie Ang as well as William Ho right now fighting it out for third position as they approach turn number 5, heading towards turn number 6.
Yeah, Freddie Ang and William Ho. Freddie earlier on and trying to attack Mark Darwin from P2. It seems to have given up completely, but that is actually opening a window of opportunity here for William Ho. Now it's sensing a good chance here for him to make up a place and get up on the podium. So Freddie Ang is going to have to pull every last trick in the book here to try to keep his line here, to try to keep defensive position, especially against a driver as tenacious as William. And then we see Carbon 86 having lost damage here, not just on his front bumper, but also his rear bumper has actually peeled off completely there, leaving it completely naked at the back.
Now, what is interesting to note is the fact that with Brendan Lim's car, he does have that bit of the front actually hanging off, so this could actually have a big friction, and because of that friction, it could actually slow him down and stifle his ability to go for overtakes.
The thing is that the front splitter does serve a purpose in maintaining downforce on the front, so he's going to definitely feel that his car is not going to be able to take those corners as aggressively as he would like. So he's definitely has to step off the pace there a little bit in order to be able to stay on the track. But in this case, in this particular situation, though, I think the big winner here is definitely Brendan Paul. Starting from P9 now, is able to get all the way up to P7 and staying just ahead of Brendan Lim.
Yeah, Brendan Lim right now definitely enjoying a little bit, Brendan Paul right now definitely enjoying a little bit of space between himself and Brendan Lim. However, he's got to be careful though. We're going to be following onto the side of Freddie Paul right now on your view. Beautiful stuff here as he's attacking some of this chicanes. We do see William Ho not too far behind him as well.
Yeah, we are coming true towards the outer 7th lap. Tengku Zhan is still leading this race by a contract. Behind him, 1.2 seconds apart. Having to defend against William Ho in both in P3 and P4 respectively. Shafiq Ali will be next on the list there. Kind of on his own race there, unfortunately, as he is 5 seconds behind William, but just behind him is Kenny Lee, who is slowly but surely starting to try to close that gap up between him and P5. And of course, we have Brendan Lim and Brendan Paul. Brendan Paul, in the meantime, we can see him on the board. He go back to the pits.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see where Brendan Lim went. So very interesting to know where he is going to end up. But we do see Tengku Zhan Lei right now definitely enjoying his lead up here. But a big spot between Mark Darwin as well. Mark Darwin to Freddie Ang. Big difference of space between them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that it's very clear at this point that these drivers at the top here are just going to continue away from the rest of the field. I mean, Tengku Zhan is like, when you talk about super sporting class being completely other level compared to sporting class, like Tengku Zhan he's on another planet entirely. Look at how fast he is compared to everyone else here. Basically, he's leaving Mark Darwin in the dust here. He's making sure that he's going to
Looking at the scrapes and scratches on Brendan Paul's car here. A little bit of tire issues could be very unfortunate for him as we pick it up on number 86, which is going to be Brendan Lim with a lack of a back bumper.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to try to hang out there as long as he can, but hopefully it would be left hung to dry though, because again, like, he's definitely going to experience a bit of decrease in the performance of his car due to the amount of parts that's hanging up there. But not only that, we don't really know what extent of damage that he sustained during that chain reaction crash. Maybe saw already. But the fact that he's still able to stay out there, still able to keep pace at least with the rest of the grid, it actually says a lot about himself. But in the meantime, though, side-by-side action going on here. Carnometry, Freddie Ang going to be facing a challenge here for William Ho, but Freddie has the inside line. He will be able to keep it as he comes into Sector 2. William Ho had to give room, though. He did not have the pace necessary to cut him off before the turn, but Lord knows he will try again for sure on the next lap. But Freddie Ang, definitely a hard-stopping move again. He almost lost his podium position.
Brendan Lim
Freddie Ang because Brandon Paul has just come out of pits and he comes out just in front of Freddie. So with this traffic in the way there, he's going to have to navigate that very smartly though, because if he's not careful, he might actually end up conceding things with Winner. But it seems like after they come through turn number 4, it looks like they have already gotten past Brandon Paul, gained the space, gained the room to want to get past, and they will be able to continue on their battle in East.
Yes, they should be able to continue this battle in East, yeah, as we do see coming in from the side of William Ho, trying his best to actually fight it off against Freddie Ang. Freddie Ang looking to defensively defending his race line here, as Mark Darwin and Takujan Lei are going to have a fight on their own ahead of them. So we do see right now an opportunity for the side of Freddie Ang to actually close it down onto William Ho, but it's got to be careful that he doesn't sideswipe the side of the barriers too much.
Yeah, that was a very aggressive attempt there from William Ho. He basically tried to hug the inside line as much as he can to get a very tight line compared to Freddie Ang. That did close the gap between him and Freddie Ang, but I fear that if he wasn't careful with that, he might actually find himself on the wrong side of the concrete barrier.
10 laps ago, coming in for the Super Sporting series, Super Sporting class, excuse me, for race number 1 here today. This is our final race at Toyota Gazoo Racing Festival VR Challenge 2019 Season 2. I'm pretty excited to see, Season 3, excuse me, how these races are going to keep it going, because the race is getting better and better with how these racers are fighting off against each other.
Yeah, Brandon Paul, who is literally 2 laps behind, is going to be posing a bit of a traffic situation here, at least for the time being. At least at this point, though, he has a little bit of gap between himself and Winnacle, as well as Shafiq Ali, I believe, that's right behind him. So I don't think he will pose too much of a problem. And it seems like Race Control has determined that for the incident happened at turn 5, no further action is going to be warranted. So this is an interesting development.
It is a very interesting development indeed. We do see that we were expecting at least some kind of a penalty or some kind of demerit to happen. However, it seems that the race director decided that there's no action to be warranted, and it's all full speed ahead for all the races here. As we move on beyond our halfway mark, it's going to be interesting to see how these 9 final laps transpire for all these drivers.
I guess it's pretty much the entire situation was caused by Boy Wong trying to go a little bit too aggressively through turn 5, and because he retired out, I guess there was no reason to actually penalize anyone else on the track there. So it looks like a lot of these people are just going to have to deal with the situation here. No penalties will be applied at all. They're just going to have to continue racing as
I see down there coming in with Takujan Lei as he's able to exit turn number 5 there. We do see not too far behind him is going to be Mark Darwin, so could be an opportunity for Mark Darwin to try to close up the gap. However, the speed, excuse me, the gap between Takujan Lei as well as Mark Darwin is getting bigger and bigger. The discrepancy is glaring.
Yeah, it's really, you're just basically watching Takujan slowly slowly but surely pull away from the rest of the field there. That gap between him and Mark Darwin, it started off about 1 second, went up to 1.5, now it's at 2.5. He's still pushing the car absolutely hard here. And he's basically trying to make a real strong statement here to say that, you know, if you really want to challenge me, you have to be able to keep up with me. And unfortunately, Mark Darwin is just not able to do so.
Right, so we do see that coming in for this final few turns here, nicely done coming in on the exit from side of Takujan Lei. Not far behind is going to be Mark Darwin. Mark Darwin right now trying his best to basically give a little bit of a challenge towards Takujan Lei, but Takujan Lei is too far ahead, and we do see not too far behind him is going to be Freddie Ang as well as William Ho. Mark Darwin right now being able to clock in a best time of 1 minute 17 and 142nd of a second. Beautifully done as he's able to attack that turn.
Yeah, I mean, he mostly got out unscathed from most of the situation here as far as the turn 5 incident was concerned. So, you know, being in the front of the pack, that's sometimes the advantage you have. You know, you can stay out of trouble most of the time. And, you know, for Mark Darwin and Takujan, they both are going to be pretty much having that podium in the back right now. It's just a matter of being able to finish this entire race here. We've got 8 laps to go. Still a lot of time left here for the drivers. You know, to try to keep it together. Speaking of keeping it together, Mark Darwin almost finished his pumping barrier there, coming out the exit of the final turn.
Now it's going to be 7 laps to go in this Super Sporting class of race number 1 here here today. Freddie Ang right now is going to be our to watch right now with a beautiful first lap of 1 minute and 17 seconds. So we do see that he is getting a better and better time. However, we don't see him getting better in terms of his positioning.
At this point now, I think it's all about maintenance. It's, especially when you have gaps this wide here, there's not a lot of potential for overtakes. You just want to try to maintain your position as much as possible. Just basically means having to keep a very smooth, consistent pace. Like so far, all across the board, all these drivers are just basically sitting 117s now. So if you are able to do a 117, you're pretty much in the clear. In the meantime, William Ho, he's definitely thinking whether or not he might have an opportunity here to get another passing move against Freddie Ang. He's still keeping the gap very, very close between the two of them. In fact, they're about 1.2 seconds apart from each other. Another battle here, perhaps on the cards as we approach that final lap.
Again, battle for third position is going to be between Freddie Ang as well as William Ho. Freddie Ang, the defender, William Ho, the aggressor here, looking towards challenging him for his race line. However, the distance between himself and William Ho, is definitely glaring, as we do see William Ho trying to close out that distance between himself, but we do see Freddie Ang now looking towards ending that distance between himself with more and more distance.
Yeah, so the thing is that William Ho has to find some creative way of closing the gap between him and Freddie Ang. He tried to do so around turn 8, but the thing is that taking the inside line there is a very, very risky move, especially considering that that's a point where the track starts to narrow down significantly. And I did see him, it looked trajectory-wise, he almost hit the wall there. It seemed a testament to his skill that he was able to keep the car straight on the track and prevent himself getting that collision. But I fear that if he tries that over and over again, eventually at one of these points the tires might actually give way. So the thing is that at least for William, he has to find another way, or at least hope perhaps that Freddie Ang makes a crucial mistake there, and he has to be in position to capitalize.
Definitely, and we do see that mistakes could be made here, considering how dangerous some of these turns, considering how challenging some of these turns are. But look at that beautifully done there coming in from the side of Freddie Ang, as he was able to attack that corner, attack the chicane with relative ease. However, we do see William Ho not too far behind, trailing behind him here, nipping at his heels, looking towards closing that gap.
I don't know whether relative ease would be the right kind of term there, because it's a racing car. The drivers are constantly adjusting, constantly trying to keep an eye on your speed indicators to make sure that the car is facing in the right position as well as direction. So the thing is that there's a lot of things definitely going through William Ho's head. Not least is how he's going to be able to keep that gap between him and Freddie Ang as low as possible.
Well, we do see that coming in, it is going to still be Freddie Ang and William Ho, where we are going to be following them. 5 more laps to go in this super sporting class, race number 1 of today. We do see that a beautiful attack here coming in from the side of William Ho. However, it seems that Freddie Ang has got his number down at 3rd spot. Nicely done.
Yeah, William Ho so far set the fastest sector 1 here, so he's still really trying to chase here at one speed. But the thing is, Freddie Ang is also not giving up at all. He's still able to maintain himself just ahead of the 39 car. And the thing is that William Ho, I believe he has a ballast there in his car, and that added weight there is actually dampening his ability to actually overcome Freddie Ang's pace.
Well, it is going to be a big issue here. We are at lap 16 already. Junglei still in the lead. No changes thus far throughout the entire race. We do see that Boy Wong already is the first one to get retired off, but in terms of positioning, we don't see major changes or any major overtakes throughout the entire 16 lap duration of this race thus far. Victor.
Yeah, 5 second lead ahead of Mark Darwin. He's still pushing that car so hard there. It's making it almost impossible for Mark Darwin to keep up. So I wonder whether he's going to be able to lap anyone on this race here. I don't think the race is actually long enough for him to do so, but granted, if he can actually do so, I think he'll actually go ahead and give it a shot.
Good opportunity for Tengku Janlei to take 1 lap over someone. However, considering how my co-broadcaster told me that it is a very short and very compact racetrack, I don't think that's going to be a possibility for him. However, However, we are going to go towards lap 17. We've got 3 laps to go. Could this be an opportunity for Freddie Ang as well? Could this be an opportunity for William Ho to try to overtake Freddie Ang in any of this situation? He only has 3 laps to go.
Yeah, Kenny Lee and Shafi Ali are also relatively close, a 1.6 second gap between them until they got to the timing board. Let's see if they're going to be able to close that gap up as we come along towards turn. And yeah, they do. Kenny Lee is starting to creep up onto Shafiq Ali of a 1.2 second gap. But so far, these are the only guys close enough to actually make a fight here as this race is starting to come up close. Only 3 laps to go.
Very interesting to see how that is going to transpire for them. We do see Shafiq Ali right now being able to go up towards 5th spot. Kenny Lee was able to come up 2 spots, 6, 8. Brendan Paul was able to come up from 9th spot to 1. So we do see that there is a few improvements in terms of positioning. However, not too many in terms of the top 5 spots.
Freddie Ang very safe in that P3 now. He's pulled away so far from William Ho. We've done quite a few laps up ahead of him. So safe to say Freddie Ang has basically won this battle for the podium. He's going to be able to stay up there along with Mark Darwin and Degushan Lei. But I'll be interested to see whether or not Kenny Lee will actually be able to close the gap between him and Shafiq Ali, because he's starting to get pretty close now. And with 2 laps to go, this might be the final shot here for some positional changes.
2 more laps to go. Our 2 final laps. We are at the climax of our race here. We do see Teuku Lei getting further and further away, but here comes Freddie Ang coming out from that chicane with William Ho not too far behind. Could this be an opportunity for William Ho to try to challenge Freddie Ang? He only has 2 laps to go to do so.
Yeah, Teuku leading this race through and through. He's did it from the start, and he's pretty much going to come in first place at the end. William Ho, he had a few moments there where he could have gotten past Freddie Ang, wasn't quite able to do so, so he possibly has to settle for P4, but he's going to be keeping close to Freddie Ang, trying to observe and see if Freddie makes a mistake, because if he does, William Ho will be able to get himself up on the podium. I'm hoping we will be able to see a battle between Shafiq Ali and Kenny Lee, because quite frankly, we're not seeing much action from them so far this race.
So we do see here coming in from Teuku Lei. Last lap for Teuku Lei as he goes through the starting line here. Could be a big opportunity for Mark Darwin to try to get back into it, but the distance between himself and Teuku Lei is way too big, way too far.
At this point now, the only way that Mark Darwin will be able to take that place is if Teuku decides to let him. And knowing the man, he's a tenacious driver. He's not going to let it go unless there's a good reason to. And he's going to basically make a really strong statement here in this race, because, quite frankly, having a 5-second lead, especially when you consider the class of racing we're seeing here, Teuku is definitely saying that I am way better than the rest of you. You guys try to keep up with me.
Wow, Teuku Lei definitely leaving dust behind for Darwin as well as Freddie Ang and William Ho. We do see that he is attacking some of these chicanes with high speed here, and it just goes to show that Teuku Lei seems to have this entire racetrack like the palm of his hand, like the tip of his fingers.
Yep, and live checking flag coming through. Teuku wins race number 1 of the Super Sporting class. Mark Darwin will follow him 5 seconds behind to take P2. Freddie Ang will be coming through the line soon to take his podium position. Will William Ho attempt to make another move here? Doesn't seem likely though, but I'm pretty sure that 23 Motors will definitely be very, very happy with this result, given the heartbreak experience from the Sporting class when Mirza actually crashed out during the Sporting class race in early on today. And coming across the line now, we have Shafiq Ali and Kenny Lee taking P5 and P6 respectively. Brendan Lim will be coming through the line as well to take P7, and last but not least, we have Brendan Paul, who will be coming through in 8th position.
A little bit of hand gestures there coming in from Teuku Lei towards the marshals, giving it some love towards his adoring fans, apparently. Beautifully done coming in from Teuku Lei.
I mean, he has a lot of fans there. I mean, there's a reason why he's called the Prince of Drift. Like, this man is a legend legend when it comes to Malaysian motorsports. He's been a constant figurehead when it comes to motor racing in general, and I'm glad to see that he had his dues come to him on race number 1. It was a very well-deserved victory. He's definitely a really fast person, the fastest lap of all the classes here in the Toyota Gazoo Racing Festival race round 2, and definitely a well-deserved victory. Definitely lots of smiles for him as he makes his way back to the pits.
Beautifully done there, coming in. The finger up with the big thumbs up is going to be from Tengku John Lay. Big smiles definitely behind that helmet there as he gives a little bit of high fives towards the marshals there. Very good stuff. Good show. Good showmanship coming in from Tengku John Lay.
I mean, just credit. He's giving the credit to the marshals there. You know, these guys have been working so hard to make sure that, you know, the tracks are cleared anytime there's an incident. You know, I think like all these kind of racing will not happen without the support staff that we have on hand here, and it's really thanks to the marshals that we're able to bring such amazing show for all you guys here at home.
We do have a lot more action for you to break down. However, this is going to be the last race that we're going to give commentary on for today. However, we have a lot more action for you coming tomorrow. But before that, let's just talk a little bit about the race and break it down for you guys thus far. How did that race pan out for you, Victor? Was it everything that you predicted?
I wouldn't say I predicted much going into this. I mean, the only thing I would actually say it's a safe bet to say is that the racing was definitely going to be very, very tight in the beginning stages. But you know, knowing the caliber of the drivers we have here, it was going to be apparent that overtaking was going to be very, very tough, because some of these drivers, especially Tengku John, you know, just constantly pushing the car from start to finish there, and basically built out such a huge gap between him and Mark Darwin that it made it impossible for Mark to actually be able to challenge him for that podium position. So right at the time we come to, we're going to be looking at the highlights here. As I was saying, you know, when it came to the middle stage of this race, it pretty much became a race of maintenance, you know, just all about maintaining the pace, making sure you're able to keep up with the rest of the field and ensure that you actually make it all the way to the end. And pretty much all these drivers here did exactly just that.
Well, nicely done there, coming in for a lot of our drivers. We did see that big collision here. Look at that. That cost Brendan Lim his back bumper and a little bit of his front. So that definitely did play a big factor in terms of his performance, in terms of his vehicle's capabilities of taking some of these turns. Definitely can feel a little bit of resistance, especially when some of the aerodynamics of the vehicle have been tampered with after an accident.
But
after
the
a collision,
but the thing is that he was still able to finish in P7, so I think that says a lot about how strong he is as a driver. He still didn't give up despite the situation being handed to him. So I think that it's definitely something that a lot of people can take to heart here, because you know, even though situations can happen, you know, as long as he can just keep staying on the pace, keep racing on the track there, you can still somehow bring it in home and be proud of that, because that was definitely a very difficult situation and he made the best of it.
A relatively incident-free, super sporting class. However, we did see some scrapes and bruises experienced by some of the drivers here, especially from Shafiq Ali as well as Boy Wong. Sadly, Boy Wong had to retire from this race due to that small little collision, but it wasn't anything crazy in terms of what happened in our previous races.
I think the biggest loser of the races so far is actually the side mirrors. Like, we've been seeing so many of them being destroyed in all of these 3 races here. Like, the thing is that we've been seeing a lot of people, you know, that's the thing, with pushing the limit so much, you know, you're bound to lose something in the end.
Let's take a look at done and dusted for now. Let's take a look at the entire results of the Super Sporting Race 1. It's going to Tengku John Lay from Pedigree Motors that comes up on top at first spot. Mark Darwin from Laser Motor Racing at second spot. Third spot is going to go to Freddie Ang from Telugu Mas Toyota, William Ho from Toyotsu Racing, and fourth spot. Shafiq Ali from M7 Japan Project Team at 5th. 6th is going to be Kenny Lee from Kagani Racing. Brendan Lim 7th spot at Tedco Racing. Brandon Paul at from Dream Chaser at 8th spot. And 9th spot is going to be Boy Wong.
Yeah, Boy Wong, like so sad for him, you know. Being the defending champion of the super sporting class, he definitely had a lot of pressure, and unfortunately, he seemed to have gotten to him. But again, congratulations to Mujan, who came such a good win here. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the race for today. But you know, the thing is, we still have racing action going on tomorrow, isn't it, Nick?
Yes, we still have a lot of action for you guys, so make sure you comment down because at Toyota we're all about the drive. So remember to join us tomorrow for more Toyota Gazoo Racing. We will see you again tomorrow.
Listen. Here is the sound of respect. The sound of unparalleled style. The sound of a car that says everything without saying anything. A car engineered to push standards, to push the status quo. There's only one place to go for a car like that. Ford. The all-new Corolla. Unspoken class.
Toyota, all about the drive. Toyota, all about the drive.